take my freedom of speech guaranteed under the United States Constitution seriously. I exercise it. I have been exercising it. Despite all pressures throughout the last 2 decades, I have held on to my right as a citizen, even we can call it just a citizen, to hold on to those rights guaranteed by the United States Constitution. I have also taken my pledge to defend this Constitution seriously, not only in words, not only in pretty words in writing, but with every single action, despite all the odds. I have put my life, my family's life, my career, practically everything on the line, defending this Constitution, despite all the threats from the FBI, the Justice Department, the State Department, foreign agents sending death threats relentlessly. Now, there are those of you who have been doing anything and everything to make me, pressure me to shut up, to put aside this right and stop exercising it. There are some of you out there who have been actually urging me to engage in self-censorship. You can call it any name that you want. Censorship is censorship. And I have refused and will refuse to engage in that type of an un-American act, practice. You have been threatening me. You have been threatening to take away the sources of my income from my websites and news organizations. It won't work. It has happened in the past. You have that freedom. Those of you who want to take your patronage somewhere else, please, you're free to do that. But you are not going to pressure me to self-censor, especially during these real critical times, during this period when we are under this coup. A coup is in effect. I want to show you, those of you, or actually remind you, because you handed me this award. You handed me this First Amendment Award in 2006 for standing up to the tyranny and defending the freedom of speech under assault at the time by George W. Bush administration. Some of you may have forgotten. So I know it is not very brief, it's about 5 minutes long, but I want you to watch it and be reminded of who I am, who I have been, who I was when you saw me fit to be the recipient of this award. The award because I stood up and defended the Constitution, the First Amendment, my First Amendment rights, and with that, every American's First Amendment right. Please watch, get reminded, because I have more to say.
Sibel Edmonds lives in suburban Washington and never expected to become, in the words of a Vanity Fair headline, an inconvenient patriot.
She is a modern-day Paul Revere. She stood up and said, "This is wrong." And they told her to shut up, and she just kept on talking. And they told her to shut up again and took away her security clearance, took away her job, and she still just kept on talking.
They have threatened me that they would put me in jail.
Edmonds was born in Iran. One of her earliest memories, the Shah's secret police, Savak, searching her family's house in Tehran. Then the Ayatollah Khomeini's revolution. One time, Revolutionary Guards surrounded an 11-year-old Sibel and told her she would go to jail because her headscarf was not modest enough. Her family fled to Turkey. Sibel ended up in college in Maryland. Her languages include English, Farsi, Turkish, and Azerbaijani. After 9/11, Edmonds decided to go to the FBI. They did not have a single translator who could speak Turkish. She became a contract linguist, translating conversations, seized documents, and wiretaps of foreign officials under suspicion.
And she discovered, in fact, that there had been serious security breaches which could jeopardize the work and jeopardize the investigations. And also that, in fact, there was a person that she was just convinced was a spy from another country.
She told her boss, and her boss's boss, but nothing changed. Then further, the Justice Department, the Office of the Inspector General, and 2 senators on the Judiciary Committee. When action was taken, it was the FBI firing her. They said for her disruptive effect on the translating unit. She brought suit against the FBI for firing her. But the Department of Justice invoked the state secrets privilege, saying that hearing the case would jeopardize national security. The case was dismissed. She never even got into court. The government retroactively classified briefings that Edmonds had made to senators, yet she continued to speak out. Finally, the independent Office of the Inspector General, the OIG, investigated. Their report? Immediately classified by the FBI. But when an unclassified version was released, it confirmed Sibel's story. Quote, "Many of her allegations had bases in fact. We believe the FBI did not take them seriously enough, and that her allegations were, in fact, the most significant factor in the FBI's decision to terminate her services." Even with that report, the appeal of her case was denied. So she took her case to the highest court in the land. The Supreme Court declined to hear it. Her supporters cite the ultimate irony. The hearing was denied the same day that a hunk of marble from the Supreme Court's facade fell to the pavement. But her cause is not over. The Paul Revere Freedom to Warn Act and a similar Senate bill to strengthen protection for government whistleblowers will now make its way through Congress because of Sibel Edmonds' case.
She's a First Amendment cannonball. She speaks up for what she believes in. She's a leader. The fact that she not only was a strong advocate for her own case, but she became a strong advocate for the public policy, for the greater good.
She had the intuition, the courage, the backbone to stand up and do it. And we are very grateful to her. And the PEN Award is significant in that regard. Tell the public what happened and that Sibel Edmonds was a heroine in this.
Sibel Edmonds is an American patriot. She has a classic story to tell, which is the story of an immigrant who came here seeking more freedom and seeking a real democracy, and was unfortunately kind of shut down when she tried to exercise her rights under the First Amendment.
I'm Paul Newman. For the past 14 years, we've been honoring courageous Americans who have defended their First Amendment rights against overwhelming odds, and in so doing, affirmed the protection of the First Amendment for all of us. Sibel Edmonds adds luster to this distinguished group of honorees with her refusal to back down from her confrontation with the FBI. In his straight-talking way, President Harry Truman said, "Whenever one American who has done nothing wrong is forced by fear to shut his mouth, then all Americans are in peril. Sibel Edmonds would not let an intimidating FBI shut her mouth, and as a result suffered grievous consequences. But she has persevered, and we are better off for her sacrifices.
PEN American Center is pleased to present Sibel Edmonds with the 2006 PEN Newman's Own First Amendment Award.
Congresswoman Maloney, a lady I respect, said they couldn't shut her up. With all their threats, despite death threats, she refused to shut up. They couldn't make me shut up. You think by threatening me, by threatening my income, my family's income, by threatening my life with many hollow threats, you're going to get me shut up at this point? Haven't you learned? Haven't you known me after this nearly 2 decades of me and my activism out there and my track record? You see, unlike you, my dedication to Constitution, to the Constitution of the United States, whether it is the First Amendment, be it the Second Amendment or 10th Amendment. Yes, my dedication, unlike you, has not been conditional. I haven't changed my position based on which administration, which party is in power. It has always remained the same. Unlike you, my stand as an anti-war, anti-interventionist stand has not changed ever. It hasn't budged ever. No matter who the administration in power in the White House is. Unlike you, I have never been funded by the enemies of humanity, by the likes of mega corporatists such as Soros, by the likes of mega technocrats such as Bill Gates. Unlike you, I have been supported by people, mainly by people who have common sense and who understand liberties, and like me, who are dedicated, those people who are dedicated to defend this Constitution, regardless of any party, any color, any philosophy, any president. That's the difference. How stupid you must be to think that by throwing these threats at me, the same person who has been this person for 19 years now, you are going to pressure me to engage in self-censorship. Unlike you, I do not selectively become constitutionalist. I support every amendment. The United States Constitution is the United States Constitution. I don't pick and choose the amendments and caca-boo-boo some and cherish some. No, it's all of it, and it's unconditional. I don't say Second Amendment is horrible and it needs to be discarded. No, I don't say that. I don't say it for any amendment. Unlike you, I am not selective when I talk about freedom of speech. I don't oppose certain freedom of speech under the guise of politically correctness. It's a censorship. Whatever name you want to give it, it is censorship. So please remain locked down according to your worshipped leaders. There is this COVID virus out there. Leave us alone. Put your energy elsewhere. Because I'm not dependent on you. I am the same person I was when you handed me that award, and I will remain to be one. I'm not going to get scared or intimidated by your threats. And I'm so heartened to see that many, many Americans are waking up and seeing the true you, the real you, the hypocrisy of you. You're throwing labels, titles, insults at me, or intended as insults, calling me now the extreme right, far right, together with your technocrat bosses there, Twitter and Google and Facebook and all of them. You're even censoring people, first labeling them as the far right based on your judgment, which you lack, and then banning them. You want to see hypocrisy? Go take a look at the track record for these bosses you serve. I'm yet to see or hear any of them use the phrase far left. That phrase doesn't exist. Even when they talk about Antifa, it's Antifa. They never say far left because according to you, far left doesn't exist. You're very quick to throw insults and call me, what did you call me? It was there. I have a record of it. I've been saving all of these, you know. You can go ahead and call me names. You call me now the white supremacist. That is laughable. I don't see anyone out there, the mainstream media, to call sometimes some of you who would be left huberists. Here, I made up a word. You won't hear anyone talking about the extreme fanatic left hubris. You know why? Because you're supported by those billionaires, by those New World Order mega corporatists. Some of you, I know you're good people. You're naive. You are being brainwashed. I'm not engaging in hate like you do. I don't hate you. In a way, I have given up hope to make you see independently and engage in critical thinking and not to be in this paradigm of extreme right, extreme left, red, blue, and objectively stand up for the Constitution rather than conditionally, rather than selectively. You're not pro-civil liberties because these rights are not conditional. They were not meant to be conditional. The Constitution was not put in place based on conditions. They were put out there in pretty much absolute terms and indefinitely. They are timeless. I believe in it. It's okay if you don't believe in it. But then please do not pretend to be constitutionalists. You can't babble about First Amendment right that needs to be extended to even pedophiles and pornographers, and we shut up. We say, okay, let's give in that much to just guarantee our right to freedom of speech. On the other hand, come out with your publishing houses, censure me, and people like me. People who are unconditionally truthful without being partisan. People who stand up against hypocrisy. You are the ones who are engaging in this ongoing extreme censorship via mainstream media, all yours. And then you claim to be pro-freedom of speech? Really? So, as I said, I don't hate you. This is not a fight. I am not actually responding to all these hate mails and all the threats I have been receiving from you because you ruffled my feathers. You haven't. Actually, I'm thanking you. I'm thankful to you for reminding me how important it is, this fight, this stand I have assumed for the Constitution. All of us need reminders now and then. And your hate speeches against me, your threats, they all act as reminders. Thank you. Those of you who happen to be watching this episode, you know where to find me. Because now I'm threatened that I'm gonna be deprived of this YouTube channel, which I couldn't care less. I have my own website. And I'm going to be deprived of my social media channels such as Facebook and or Twitters. I couldn't care less. Every day I'm surprised that I still have those accounts. I'm ready. I have been ready for years. Don't worry about it. I'm not worried about it. You can find me at Newsbud. You can join my network at Newsbud. You can join my Common Sense 1/3 USA Common Sense network at Patreon. If you wish, if you can, the links will be out there in the description box. And you can come and go as you wish. But there will always be my core supporters, my core brothers and sisters who are like me. I'm not alone. Who are anti-war no matter what. They are pro First Amendment, Second Amendment, Eighth Amendment no matter what. They stand for the truth, for the right, for the liberties, no matter who is in the White House. Those of you are the only ones I care about. And I have cared about for 18 years. Actually, 19. I thank all of you who have been supporting me via Patreon and Newsbud. And I want to assure you that they are not going to make me go away. They haven't succeeded in the past. They will not succeed in the future. This pledge, this stand is here to stay for as long as I live. This is Sibel Edmonds, just a citizen, reporting from Florida.